At this point in time, I'd like to call this meeting of the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders to order. Please rise for a moment of silence. I would ask that in your thoughts and prayers you remember Rhode Island Council President Frank Beanick, who recently passed away, as well as former First Assistant Prosecutor Larry West. Salute to the flag. Dennis?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett.
Here.
Freeholder Delina.
Here.
Freeholder Polos. Freeholder Rios. Freeholder Scott.
Here.
Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Here. Commemorative resolutions.
We have a few this evening. The first is recognizing Superior Court Nicholas J. Stromstis, Jr. on the occasion of his retirement from the bench. Next is recognizing Peg Chester, Director of the Department of Senior Services, as she was recognized by the New Jersey Foundation for Aging. Next is recognizing Ingrid Andrade of Columbia Bank and South Amboy Mayor John O'Leary, as they were honored for their outstanding contributions to the business community as selected by the Chamber of Commerce, serving Old Bridge, Sayreville, and South Amboy. And last is recognizing John Paranello, Jr. of Boy Scout Troop 10, as he has achieved his Eagle Scout Award.
I need a motion to adopt the commemorative resolutions.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett.
Yes.
Freeholder Delina.
Yes.
Freeholder Scott.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes. Correspondence? Oh, I'm sorry. Freeholder Valente, he's going to present one of the resolutions. I'm sorry, Freeholder.
Peg Chester, would you come up, please? The Board of Chosen Freeholders wants to honor you this evening on having received such a great honor as one of the founders of the New Jersey Foundation of Aging. I'm not going to read this all, but we're very proud of you. Margaret Rose. You know, that was your middle name. And we want to congratulate you on this well-deserved recognition from the New Jersey Foundation of Aging and commend you for your commitment to the residents of the County of Middlesex. Thank you so much. Would you like to say anything?
I very much appreciate the proclamation from the freeholders, but it's really not about individuals, it's about partnerships. And I really appreciate the partnership that I have with this board as we work towards helping seniors in our county. Thank you very much.
Correspondence.
Each freeholder has been provided with a list of correspondence received by the clerk's office since our last meeting. This correspondence will be kept on file in the office of the clerk of the board for reference.
I need a motion to accept the correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Barrett, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Need a motion to accept the minutes of the October 21st and November 4th, 2010 Freeholders meetings.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. Sorry. Barrett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
I know.
Reports of freeholders. Freeholder Carol Barrett.
Wait till the next meeting. I really confuse you.
Thank you, Director.
I'm happy to announce that the New Brunswick Bikeway project is advancing to the final engineering design phase. As a result, I am asking my fellow freeholders to support Resolution 10-1925 that would award the contract for final engineering services for the project that will address the need for a safe and secure bicycling route from George Street to College Avenue in New Brunswick. This project is federally funded. The proposed route runs from the intersection of George and Bishop Street to the intersection of Huntington and Lafayette Street along the Nelson, Albany, and George Streets. This alignment will provide connectivity between Rutgers University campuses in New Brunswick, commercial areas, the train station, and bus facilities, and nearby workplaces and activity centers. The 5-foot bike lanes are proposed along designated areas of the route. I would like to commend, this was done, I think, started in the 1990s, and freeholder Camille Fernicola was very instrumental in this, and I think we all need to thank her for. So, also on tonight's agenda is Resolution 10-1946, which would authorize the purchase of a county-wide GIS parcel mapping system from the firm of Civil Solutions. This will serve as the foundation for the county's data network, forming a comprehensive information resource from which many county departments and organizations can benefit. This will serve to develop a framework to synchronize with state-level efforts. There are a number of advantages to the various county departments and organizations with this system. Certainly, it will simplify the calculation of equalization rates. It can serve to settle boundary disputes. It can search parcels on specific criteria for site selection, for open space and farmland preservation. So all of these things, right-of-ways when implementing road projects, when we're planning pedestrian and bicycle trails throughout the county park system. Again, I would ask my fellow freeholders to support this resolution. It would expand our mapping capabilities and help us build a comprehensive database that would enhance our ability to serve our residents. And very quickly, once again, our Middlesex County Housing Agency, which provides assistance and pays part of the rent and utilities for over 600 needy families. We want to thank you once again. The County Housing Agency has once again been rated a high-performing housing agency by HUD. Good work, Paul, to you and your staff. Thank you very much. That's my report.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Delina?
Thank you, Director. Our holiday tradition, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat will celebrate its 16th year at the State Theater in this December. Tickets are currently on sale at the State Theater box office, and I urge you quickly to act because it's a fast sellout. Performances will be held on Sunday, December 26th at 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., Monday, the 27th, 7 p.m., and Tuesday, December 28th at 7 p.m. All seats are reserved, and the ticket price is only $7, so try not to miss a wonderful opportunity to enjoy the great show for the family and friends. For those waiting for the ice skating rink to begin our family skating in Roosevelt Park, the wait is over. The rink opened up on Wednesday the 17th. The facility will be closed for Thanksgiving, but will reopen Friday for the winter season. If you have any questions regarding schedule, pricing, or events to go on website www.com, Middlesex.New Jersey, US, or call Tracy Reed at 732-494-3785. And then last but certainly not the least, to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and friends. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Scott?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. Yes, I'm pleased to announce that the county will be receiving $1.61 million in federal Homeland Security grant funds. Resolution on tonight will be 10-2045 on tonight's agenda. Will accept the funds, which will help to improve the safety and security of Middlesex County. Of the funds, $402,000 will cover the cost of a new automated license plates, and these readers for 15 towns in the county. Cameras will be mounted on police vehicles, which will be used to take photos of license plates, which will then be automatically compared to terrorist watch lists and several law enforcement database of registered vehicles known of suspected of being involved with crimes. The towns receiving the license plate readers were chosen based on jurisdiction risk analysis of Middlesex County that was completed between the prosecutor's office and the Homeland Security Preparedness Program. And another $120,000 of the funds will be passed to the Salvation Army, which will be staff and maintain a vehicle for emergency events when large groups of people must be fed. I want to ask my fellow freeholders to support Resolution 10-2045 because the funds will be used to support our law enforcement personnel and our first responders in their effort to safeguard our residents. Last week, we had a National Adoption Day in Middlesex County. And this a National Adoption Day is for recognition of children that are waiting in foster homes to be adopted. And Surrogate Kevin Hoagland says about 114,000 kids across our county and our country are waiting for permanent homes. This past week, we had 18 children adopted by 16 families. They ranged the age from months to years. And you know, when you look at the little faces out there for National Adoption Days, and you look at the mothers and the fathers that are adopting these children, your heart really goes out to them. So we want to recognize the families that have taken interest in our foster care, and for DIFUS and for the work they do throughout our country. National Adoption Day is one of the most happiest days in Middlesex County Courthouse, and I was proud to be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Valente?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I wanted to add that our own Margaret Chester, as we honored her this evening, established this New Jersey Foundation for Aging as a nonprofit organization in 1998, and is a statewide public charity that raises funds to support innovative programs that serve seniors. And since it started, the organization has worked to address the needs of the state's senior population by improving and expanding services and programs to New Jersey's seniors. And we are very happy that Margaret, or Peg as we call her, was able to be singled out along with 3 other people. Again, congratulations. We just finished the Middlesex County Department of Human Services. Our 6th and final needs assessment focus groups, we've had them in different areas of the county, such as Sayreville, Edison, New Brunswick, Perth Amboy, and North Brunswick. We had a wonderful, diverse turnout of community members who joined us to voice their ideas about the future delivery of social services in our county. And we were able to draw about 50 participants for each session. And the last one was at North Brunswick High School, which was probably the best attended one of the 6 that we had. I want to thank you for letting us do this, and you will be hearing from our department in the near future of the results of this needs assessment effort. And there'll be an upcoming 2011 countywide service and an analysis of U.S. Census data as it pertains to the demographics of Middlesex County. So again, we will be very happy to continue to forward this opportunity to partner in this important work with all segments of the community. Thank you, Freeholder Director.
Thank you, Freeholder. 2 quick reports. We got the results of our annual county auction. and that generated over $246,000. So that was a very successful auction. And secondly, recently the Northeastern Economic Developers Association finalized the awards for their 2010 Literature and Promotions Competition. Each year, this competition recognizes the best and most effective communication and promotional materials in the field of economic development. I am pleased to announce that both pieces of literature submitted this year by the county's Office of Economic and Business Development received merit awards. Submitted for judging were the Middlesex County Promotional Folder and the Middlesex County Tourism and Economic Development Guide. Both pieces were created by the County Economic and Business Development Department and highlight the people, places, and industry of the county. Certainly want to congratulate Carl Spataro for that. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is our tourism guide, and this is our promotional folder. So we've been recognized by a very large organization. So certainly, again, congratulations to Carl and his staff for doing a great job. Okay, on to, we have to deviate from the regular order of business to conduct 2 public hearings and introduce 1 ordinance. Let's start with Ordinance 10-06. Margaret, before you read, I just want to say with regard to that ordinance, it's refinancing of bonding that we have, Al, right?
Yes.
Okay, it'll save about $1.2 million to the taxpayers of Middlesex County, so that's good news. Margaret?
Notice of this public hearing was published in the Home News Tribune on October 26, 2010. This public hearing was authorized at a meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders held October 21, 2010.
The clerk will read ordinance number 10-06 by title only.
Ordinance of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, approving and authorizing the entering into, execution, delivery, and performance of a loan and security agreement with the Middlesex County Improvement Authority, the Authority, relating to the issuance of county-guaranteed open space trust fund revenue refunding bonds by the Authority in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $58 million, pledging monies in the open space trust fund therefore, and authorizing a public hearing to be held on November 22nd, 2010 at 7 p.m. and authorizing publication thereof.
At this point in time, I'd like to open the meeting up to the public. Anyone from the public on ordinance number 10-06?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Barrett, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Need a motion to adopt ordinance number 10-06 on final reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Delina,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes. Now ordinance number 10-07.
Notice of this public hearing was published in the Home News Tribune on October 26, 2010. This public hearing was authorized at a meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders held October 21, 2010.
The clerk will read ordinance number 10-07 by title only.
An ordinance authorizing the guarantee by the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, of open space trust fund revenue refunding bonds issued by the Middlesex County Improvement Authority in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $58 million in bonds issued for the purpose of refunding the outstanding and callable county-guaranteed open space trust fund revenue bonds, Series 2003, and authorizing a public hearing to be held thereon on November 22, 2010 at 7 p.m. and authorizing publication thereof.
At this point in time, I'd like to open it up to the public. Anyone from the public on ordinance number 10-07?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Barrett, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 10-07 on final reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Delina,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes. Now on to ordinance number 382A. Clerk will read ordinance number 382A by title only.
Bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 382, heretofore finally adopted by the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, the county, on May 21, 2009, entitled Bond Ordinance Providing for a Contribution Towards a Redevelopment Project, Long-Term Care Facility, being undertaken in the Township of Oldbridge, for and in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $41,160,000 to fund the cost thereof, and authorizing the issuance of $41,160,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance such appropriation, and authorizing a public hearing to be held Thursday, May 21st, 2009 at 7 p.m., and authorizing publication thereof as amended and supplemented to increase the appropriation therein by $3,900,000, to increase the authorization therein by $3,900,000, and authorizing the public hearing to be held on Thursday, December 2nd, 2010 at 7 p.m. and publication thereof.
I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 382A on first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. All those in favor say, I'm sorry, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Delina?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano?
Yes. I need a motion to resume the regular order of business.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, second by Freeholder Barrett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, you're on. Eric. Any motions to be amended?
No, sir.
Any resolutions, I'm sorry, to be added?
No, there are not.
Any resolutions to be held?
Yes, there are two. It's Resolution 10-1926 on page 6, and Resolution 10-2010 on page 14.
Okay, resolutions to be voided?
There is one, Resolution 10-1942 on page 8.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up to the public for discussion on any agenda items. Anyone from the public want to comment on any resolution listed on the agenda? Anyone from the public?
There being none, I move the
Wake up, come on.
Okay.
agenda.
I need a motion to close public discussion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Scott, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now, does any Freeholder have any resolutions they wish to have removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately?
I do, Freeholder Director. There's quite a few of them.
Okay.
Resolution 10-1912, Resolution 10-1917, Resolution 10-1919, Resolution 10-1925, Resolution 10-1963, Resolution 10-1969, Resolution 10-1996, Resolution 10-2016, and Resolution 10-2046.
Anybody else? Okay, Eric, you're on.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda, which consists of resolution numbers 10-1878 through 10-2048, excluding resolutions 10-1926 and 10-2010, which are to be held, resolution 10-1942, which is to be voided, and resolutions 10-1912, 10-1917, 10-1919, 10-1925, 10-1963, 10-1969, 10-1996, 10-2016, and 10-2046, which are to be voted upon separately.
I need a motion.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Barrett, seconded by Freeholder Valente. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Delina?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano?
Yes. We can do these collectively. We don't have to do them individually.
I think you can do them collectively, since
Okay.
there's only one freeholder who's involved with
Okay, I need a motion to accept resolutions 1912, 1917, 1919, 1925, 1963, 1969, 1996, 2016, and 2046.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Freeholder Barrett, seconded by Freeholder Scott. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Delina?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Present not voting.
Freeholder Director Rafano?
Yes. At this point in time, I'd like to open the meeting up to the public. Remember, there's a 5-minute rule. Okay. Okay. Come on up.
Hello, Ann Barron, Highland Park. Do I have to give my address too? I forget.
Yes.
333 Harper Place. I'm concerned because the agenda is rather short tonight. There actually seems to be a resolution missing. And I know that Food and Water Watch has been in conversation with you all about the problems with having a liquid natural gas pipeline being extended through Middlesex County out into the ocean. So are the freeholders going to enter a resolution? Is someone going to sponsor this resolution that would hopefully say we will not support as freeholders having a liquid natural gas pipeline through our property?
What we're doing at this point is we're doing our due diligence. We reached out to 3 of the impacted communities to find out what their position is. Once we get all that information back from them, then we'll make our decision at that point in time.
I just want to remind you all of the explosion that happened. It was near the in Edison, near those apartments.
The apartments that you're talking about.
Yes, that woke me up, and the whole sky was alight. I live on Highland Park, and we could see the whole. It was like daytime, and it scared the hell out of me. I'll tell you that for nothing. So I have real concerns about any of these corporations actually being able to fully protect, fully make sure that the pipes that they're laying can withstand freezing, can withstand impact, can withstand people digging around them as it's going to happen. So I would urge you pass bring it up and then pass the resolution.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Where's it going through, Highland Park, or is it going through New Brunswick?
Oh, I don't think it's going through either one.
No, where's it going through?
It's going up through Perth Amboy, but I can't. Carteret,
Woodbridge and
Perth Amboy, and
Carteret?
Woodbridge.
Gee, first time I heard about it, I live in that area.
You should be afraid, very afraid.
Carteret, very, very, but you're not worried, you're worried about Carteret and all that area, right?
The pipe that exploded, or it didn't even explode, it was just dinged 15 years ago by somebody digging around. That created a huge explosion that threw me from my bed. That happened in Edison, and I'm more than 5 miles away. This pipeline is going to be something like almost 10 times as big. So when it explodes, as it might, that's going to be a 10 times bigger bomb going off.
But
So
excuse me again, you said it's going through Carteret?
I don't know the exact path, and actually I don't think that they've finally determined the exact path. I know it's not going
Has it really
through.
come to any board for putting this pipe right through? Because I live in Woodbridge.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's a pipeline coming like this, the people are told that there's a pipeline coming through, that there'll be a public hearing where people will go and listen to what's going on, because they have to apply to the state for a permit.
Yes, and we've seen some of this permitting
But
process
they
in the
already
past.
sent out notices already?
No, they haven't done this yet. We want to make sure, because this is not just an issue for those towns, too. This is actually an issue for everyone in the state.
Yeah.
So, and the other point that's sort of tangentially related to this is that we should be pushing more for green types of energy supplies and not this kind. This is not a green energy supply. It's actually going to increase carbon emissions, which we're trying to reduce. So,
Well, you haven't heard, you haven't anything written that was given in from the town that they're gonna have this pipeline?
now I'm not in contact with those towns.
Because Woodbridge had a fight with LG one time to they had a line going right through the middle of Woodbridge.
Mm-hmm.
They went and fought it, they went to Trenton. But people knew about it. You people, I don't even know, you know where the pipeline's gonna go?
It's not set yet, but we know that is it set? Oh,
I just to
okay.
interject. A formal proposal has been put in by Liberty Natural Gas to put this pipeline in. We can give you a copy of that
No,
proposal
because,
as well as the actual line that they're proposing.
Yeah,
But it
listen,
comes up the
when
Raritan
it comes
River.
in, it always comes through the local government. If a pipeline, they're gonna get the first say on it. They're gonna get the first say on it. And what they're gonna do, and they'll come in with the mayor and say that they don't want this line in there. But it has to go through local first.
That's exactly what we're doing right now.
It can actually go either way. It doesn't have to just go through local. You can make your own statement as well.
Thank you.
Dan Cummings, 90 Townsend Street, New Brunswick. I'm just here on behalf of the residents of Middlesex County who do not want an LNG pipeline going through our county or through New Jersey at all. It's a situation where, as Ann was alluding to, we need to be moving towards cleaner energies, and this is definitely not one of them. Also, the fact that, there's been instances of these pipelines being put next to schools and next to community centers in the past, and obviously something like that would not be something that the residents of Middlesex County would want. I think the reason that we're here, although it's not at a level where it's totally imminent, is that you kind of need to voice your opinion early on before the ball really gets rolling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
How are you?
Thank you for letting us just say a few words. I'm Daniel Santopietro. I live at 358 Rector Street in Perth Amboy, otherwise known as the Landings. And I want to just say a couple of quick words because I happened to be in Trenton when the press conference was held last week, and I was able to hear from all the leading environmental groups about this particular issue and problem, including the fishermen who are going to be drastically affected by this. But when we looked at the details of this, it was obvious that Perth Amboy is going to have a dagger put through its heart if this goes through along the lines of what they're talking about. We did go to the town hall meeting last week. The council has already passed a resolution opposing this project, but they weren't even aware of quite the details. We're all finding out about it rather quickly. And quite frankly, it's very upsetting. I don't know if anyone had a chance to see the Amboy Beacon that covered the town hall meeting. We have some extra copies if it would help at all, but this is a pretty good description of the meeting and what happened. And you're going to hear more from the environmental groups as far as their technical aspects. What I would like to talk to is in the Sunday Times in the real estate section. Wonderful little article. Says a bayfront city recovers, about how Perth Amboy is going through a transformation, how it's rebuilding itself, re-identifying itself, how we're creating a mixed income community, a very diverse community that wants to work together. Now, the image immediately established of a pipeline that would follow the railroad right through the middle of town, right through the middle of our commercial district, is already creating waves, as you can imagine. Our development is trying to be part of that. I guess you would call it the more upscale part, but we really believe that that community can grow, and that, quite frankly, our concern is that this type of project is neither necessary, and I'll let other people speak to that, and would, in essence, set back Perth Amboy tremendously. So we really would urge you as freeholders certainly to investigate this fully. We are looking for that support. The town council is unanimous on this. I've talked to several of them, and we're all looking for ways to be effective. It's a complicated matter, and we're going to let other people explain exactly how we can approach some of the issues. But thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tracy Jordan. I live at 368 Rector Street in Perth Amboy, which is another building within the same Bayfront condo complex, the Landings in Perth Amboy. I've lived there for 3 years. Danielle's a difficult one to follow. He hit the notes that I wanted to stress. I'm not always automatically an environmentalist. I'm definitely not a safety engineer. I don't know much about the transport of fuel, but image is the number one item that kind of strikes me just as an average person, an average resident, someone wanting to make Perth Amboy their home and take part in the transformation and the growth of the town. We just have that gorgeous bayfront. I know it's an important natural resource, but it's also a pristine piece of natural beauty that is very I think, rare and precious in Middlesex County. And for some average folks who, again, we're not environmentalists, we're not engineers, we're not safety experts. We just want to participate in the rebirth of the town and enjoy it. So that's all I wanted to say. Again, the image is especially the day after. It was just yesterday. If you can still get yesterday's New York Times, you can read the wonderful article about people wanting to move and moving into Perth Amboy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlie Chagoo, 16 Janet Court, Milltown. I know you can't sit back and wait till disaster happens. So you got to speak out before it happens. Now, we're such a heavily populated area here that a natural gas line coming through would be a disaster for many different reasons. And so I think that, you really got to look at it good to see what good it would do here and what good it wouldn't do and how much harm it would do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jamie Balanchia. I'm a resident of Highland Park. I work in New Brunswick, and I'd like to point out that the United States is currently 97% energy independent with respect to natural gas. Liquefied natural gas is a variation on this. There are more steps involved. As we've heard, this can potentially impact our communities, our environment, our industries in the state. So I have to ask why we would then stand by and condone with our silence the ability of an organization to bring this product in, and it is a product. For what gain and for what purpose would we permit this in our communities? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Cindy Ziff. I'm Executive Director of Clean Ocean Action, which is a coalition of groups that work on protecting and improving our marine water qualities throughout the state, most particularly along the Atlantic seaboard. And we are here to urge you to consider passing a resolution opposing liquefied natural gas, similar to Monmouth County, who also reflected on this and passed a resolution rejecting liquefied natural gas facilities. What's being proposed is Liberty Natural Gas, a multinational corporation, is seeking to build a facility off of Asbury Park, and to have this floating tankers. There'll be as many as 4 of them, and they're pipelines extending from Asbury Park up through our ocean, through some of the most rich marine fisheries areas we have, across Raritan Bay, and then sticking a pipeline in through Perth Amboy, going through Woodbridge and Carteret, as you know, and then Linden. This is not to bring us any kind of liberty whatsoever. In fact, quite the contrary. Liberty Natural Gas is seeking to bring us a foreign energy product. All liquefied natural gas comes from foreign countries. And in particular, Liberty's sources are Trinidad and Tobago and Libya and Tunisia. We do not need, as the previous speaker spoke, we do not need liquefied natural gas from other countries. We are independent with our own domestic natural gas. So they're bringing us a product that we don't need. It's also going to increase our energy costs. As the previous speaker said, increase greenhouse gas emissions. Liquefied natural gas is up to 40% more CO2 emitting than domestic natural gas. And I have to say, Middlesex County is a leader in this state, if not the nation, in green energy initiatives. And I really have to commend all the wonderful work that you've been doing. This goes flying flat in the face of all that good work by allowing the pipeline through. Again, not only is Monmouth County opposed, there's over 90 organizations ranging from environmental organizations to energy independence organizations that don't want to see us moving toward another foreign natural gas solution. There's a wide number, of course, environmental organizations that are opposed, but also civic organizations. Many towns are passing resolutions, as Perth Amboy has. So we urge you again to protect the citizens, stop this in its tracks. We are fortunate in that Governor Christie has also said he is opposed 100%. And all this has led to there were 2 other projects that actually were proposing off our coast. One was ExxonMobil that was building a facility off of Seagirt and Spring Lake area. And then there was another project off of Seabright that was trying to build an island off the coast. Both of those projects have retreated. They've given up. this Liberty Natural Gas will not give up. And I've brought you some newspaper articles, some recent newspaper articles to share with you some of the recent developments. But again, we hope and we trust, and as you do your due diligence, that you'll come to the same conclusion as many others, that this is not in the public interest. It's only in a big multinational corporation's interest, which is in no interest of ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sean Dixon. I'm the Coastal Policy Attorney for Clean Ocean Action, and I've been working on this project a lot. I wanted to speak briefly as to the procedures and the policies that go along with it to answer some of your questions. This pipeline is being reviewed by FERC, which is the Energy Regulatory Commission for the government that handles pipelines of this nature. Currently, the application has been submitted to FERC. And so what FERC is doing at the moment is determining whether or not this pipeline is in the public's interest and is convenient. It's a way that FERC has, it's one of their permits that they give that overrides almost every local ordinance or request and can pretty much allow the permit holder to do whatever they'd like. So while there is a lot of important work to be done at the local level, this is, quite frankly, something that the federal government can just come in and say, you need to allow this pipeline to go through your towns. At the current state of the application, there will be public hearings later down the road. We're talking 2 to 6 months from now. Those public hearings, however, because the application has already been submitted, will generally be for the nuances over the alternatives in the pipeline plan. That doesn't mean that this will be about whether or not to have the pipeline. It means whether or not to put the pipeline on North Street or one block over on South Street, or whether or not we want to curl it up next to the elementary school or curl it down near the high school. So these are the small nuances in the alternatives of the pipeline location, not the be-all end-all of whether or not to do the pipeline in the first place. So over the next 60 days, because the clock started running 2.5 weeks ago, FERC is going to make this decision as to whether or not it is convenient and in the best interest of the public, which is why over the last 2 or 3 years we've been gathering resolutions and statements and positions from everybody that lives and works in this part of the state to show FERC that this is not in the interests of the public. And as we've said before, and everybody will say again, this isn't in the interests of our energy infrastructure or our energy markets either. So while there will be time later down the road to become more involved, it is imperative that all of our voices are heard now so that we can tell FERC that this is not what we want and we don't think that it's proper. And that has to be done sooner rather than later, because the longer that we wait into this procedure, the closer we come to having an EIS or an EA, a NEPA process statement that just says which block are you going to put it on, not whether or not we're going to drive it next to our homes and our businesses. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Dana Patterson, and I'm with Edison Wetlands Association. We're an environmental nonprofit. We work not only in Edison, but throughout the entire state to protect the human health and environment of all of our residents. Today, I'm here to urge you to pass a resolution opposing the liquefied natural gas project, especially with the land line going through Middlesex County. As was stated before, this pipe, it's going to be a port off the Jersey coast, which is in the clean ocean zone, which runs from New York to Cape May. And within this clean ocean zone is a critical protection area for over 300 species of fish, 350 species of birds, 5 species of sea turtles, 20 species of whales and dolphins, 1 species of porpoise, and 4 species of seals. And this includes 9 endangered species, 4 of which are whales, can be found in these ocean waters. So you have the opportunity to pass a resolution that would help stop this project. We all know that Middlesex County residents enjoy the Jersey Shore. We love the Jersey Shore. We go down there. Can you imagine having a liquefied natural gas facility off the coast that would not only threaten our coast on the Jersey Shore, but would also threaten our residents by putting a pipeline through our communities? So today I ask you to please propose and pass a resolution against this project. As you know, Perth Amboy, Edison, and Highland Park have all passed a resolution opposing this project. So I encourage you, and as was stated before, Monmouth County, I encourage you to follow in their footsteps. Clearly, the residents of Highland Park, Edison, and Perth Amboy have all stated their opinion and would like this opposed. So I urge the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders to do this as well and protect the human health environment of your residents and constituents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Armando Tamargo, 133 High Street, Perth Amboy, New Jersey. I guess, put a finer point on what several of the people in Perth Amboy and these other fine people have stated tonight is one of the things that that hasn't been pointed out is the dimension, the size of this proposed pipeline. From my understanding, from documents that I read, this is a 36-inch diameter pipeline that's going to be running through the center of Perth Amboy. The railroad tracks are the New Jersey Transit Line, North Jersey coastline, which is probably, if not the East Coast, it's certainly one of the busiest corridors, commuter corridors in the state of New Jersey. I'm not an engineer, but putting a 36-inch pipeline full of natural gas along one of the most traveled commuter lines doesn't make too much sense to me. So, and that's where it starts, right? And again, if I'm reading the drawing correctly, this 36 pipeline comes in at a point where there's a school a couple of hundred yards from the point where the pipeline would come in. It's an elementary school. About 550 children are in this school, plus teachers. A little further, 2 blocks up the road, you have a nursing home, a couple of hundred feet from the railroad tracks where this track will be laid. And depending on how this pipeline is oriented, it could well go past another elementary school with as many or more children. These are kindergarten through 4th grade. And if the proposed path continues, it'll go through probably one of the most densely built up housing developments in the city of Perth Amboy. It'll continue, again, if I'm reading this correctly, it'll go through the Kinder Morgan, or near the Kinder Morgan tank farms that house and store a whole host of products for various companies. I'm not really sure what's in those tanks, but nonetheless, I don't want to beat this point to death, but I think you get the picture of what you're proposing. It's a 36-inch bomb that they're putting through the center of our town that's, quite frankly, on the balls of its rear end at the moment. Putting this pipeline at this point in time through this town, you might as well just put that last nail in on the coffin. It's not needed. It certainly isn't wanted. And anything that you ladies and gentlemen could possibly do to put an end to this project is going to be thanked for.
Can you talk to Senator Vitale?
I've just started.
Or John Wisniewski. There are 2 people that are down in Trenton. I mean, they should know more what's coming and what's going. I mean, you could be here to talk to us. They have the override of what could go on with any type of a fuel like that is put different pipeline. But the state has a control. Yeah. I would talk to them first because they have the override. Coming to us, fine. I mean, I only live a mile away from Amboy, so I don't want my house to blow up either.
Right.
Let me say something. You have to see the people down in Trenton. They're the ones that give the permits and everything.
Well,
we don't give the permits.
No,
I give the permits.
I understand that, and I appreciate what you're saying. And that's
I'm just trying to tell you that I'm shocked what I heard last time too. I mean, there's a pipeline going through Ford's or it's going through Perth Amboy, but I don't think it's going to go near there. That's my feeling. But if you talk to the people down in Trenton, they would give you more information on what's happening today or tomorrow. Has anybody been down in Trenton to talk to any of the congressional people or to the to Vitale and to John Wisniewski? I mean, they're from Central Jersey here.
No, I understand Mr. Vitale is from Woodbridge. I haven't. That's not to say that some of the other representatives...
Because I've talked to them, and nobody even knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
About any kind of a pipeline coming into Perth Amboy. Somebody said it's coming into Perth Amboy, some said it's coming into Highland Park, some said Edison. I don't even know what they're talking about. They're out there telling me. I don't know either.
Well, I think I don't see that as a setback. Actually, what you just said, I see that as an opportunity to get the word out. There certainly will be a pretty aggressive movement to get to be heard.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jim Walsh. I'm the New Jersey Director for Food and Water Watch, and I'm here again to urge you to pass a resolution opposing liquid natural gas facilities off the Jersey coast. Food and Water Watch works to ensure that the food, water, and fish we consume is safe, accessible, and sustainably produced. We promote policies that maintain the environment and quality of our oceans and its resources. As a source of food, it is important to not misuse it by creating massive factory fish farms, operating dangerous oil platforms, and creating policies that lead to the privatization of our ocean resources. When I was here last month, we were reminded of the dangers of natural gas pipelines because of an explosion that happened earlier this year in Edison. A little over a week ago, Route 1 in Edison was shut down because of a gas leak, and a natural gas explosion that just occurred in Morris County made headlines in New Jersey. Luckily, nobody was hurt in either of these incidents, but the concerns are real and very close to home for many Middlesex County residents. When I was here last month, I spoke about opposition from towns across Middlesex County. You may remember that the Council of Edison, Perth Amboy, Highland Park, and Woodbridge and Highland Park Environmental Commissions all unanimously passed resolutions opposing the proposed liquid natural gas plans and urging the New Jersey legislature to do the same. What I failed to bring to your attention is now, and this would be interest to you, is Senator Barbara Bono has actually co-sponsored SR 58, legislation that would oppose liquid natural gas facilities off the New Jersey coast. Senator Smith from Middlesex County voted for the bill when it came up in the Senate Environment Committee, which he chairs, and passed that committee. Assemblyman Dignan from Middlesex is also a co-sponsor of this bill in the Assembly. The governor has even come out against this proposal. And you said the state is the one who knows about this? The governor has come out strongly against this, as is the commissioner of the DEP. And I have with you here the comments that they've actually submitted to the FERC that I brought here for you tonight that are a scathing review of this proposal. So that's here from the state. And we've been working with the state. The governor said he's going to exercise his veto power to stop the offshore portion of this pipeline. What we believe is that the Liberty is working to set this pipeline up now, and we'll probably push and work to get the second half approved when there's a new governor. And our community, our organization delivered a letter to the clerk's office that was signed by 16 organizations who have members here in Middlesex County. I have copies of that letter here tonight, that it now has 18 organizations added to it. There's 2 other organizations who've added their name to support that. I've also brought you 2 packets of recent articles, one that was talked about in the Perth Amboy Beacon with the line, "The city of Perth Amboy will not have to go it alone," after its fight to stop with a massive natural gas pipeline through densely populated residential areas. This is the first line in that article. We need to make sure that they don't have to go it alone. The action taken by these municipal bodies, environmental groups, environmental commissions, and residents that have come here tonight from the county is a reflection of the strong concerns with the proposed liquid natural gas plans for the state. I ask you again, please take a stance against LNG and pass a resolution showing your opposition to these proposed plans. As was said earlier, passing this resolution later on in the process will be too late. Middlesex County has missed its opportunity to intervene in this. We provided information to the county about its ability to intervene in this process formally. In order for you to have a voice in this, you need to act soon to get a letter to the FERC to let them know about your concerns. It has to be written comment submitted to the FERC, or they won't care about your concerns that you voice, even if you pass a resolution today. That resolution needs to direct the county to send a letter to the FERC expressing your concerns. And so you have a real opportunity and a real responsibility to lead here. And I appreciate that you want to look to other communities. Perth Amboy has asked for your help, and they're asking for it here. And we're here asking for your help and support with this too. There's a number of reasons to be concerned with this, and it's been covered at the state level. It's been covered at the local level. And I ask you to take that leadership, because this is a time when we need leadership. We don't need people to look around for somebody else to take the lead. We need you all to lead tonight, and that's why we're here. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them for you.
Thank you.
Great.
Director, could we have that kind of a resolution tonight or for the next meeting? A letter to the PERC opposing this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the board knows there is a draft resolution that has been prepared, but again, I think we want to make sure that as we talk to all of our municipalities in Middlesex County, they understand the position that we might be taking, as long as they have a full understanding of their positions as well. And once that is complete, we anticipate that this board will take the necessary actions.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Gasenica. I'm a resident of Red Bank, 110 Locust Avenue in New Jersey. And while I'm not a resident of Middlesex, I am a rider on the North Jersey coastline. And because of that, I'm very involved with this whole process. Not to mention that the other part of this pipeline, which would be the terminals off the shore, are much closer to me. This pipeline, as you have heard, is going to follow the corridor where the North Jersey coastline travels. And not only is it 36 inches in diameter, but it's only going to be buried 3 feet. Yes, 3 feet. That alone, the vibrations of the train alone will greatly affect it. It's a highly volatile fuel. And you may also, they've mentioned explosions that have happened near here. You also recall the San Mateo, California explosion that happened in a residential area where the houses were all spread apart, and it was only houses, individual houses with single families. When I ride that train, especially since I heard about this pipeline, I look out the windows. It is amazing how densely populated this area is on that North Jersey coastline between Perth Amboy and the other towns that it's going to go through. There are apartment buildings. There are single-family homes that are this far apart. There are commercial industry buildings which employ thousands of workers, let alone the thousands of travelers, their commuters that are on that train. So we're multiplying the San Mateo, which caused deaths and destruction of multiple homes by thousands. And the security for this is virtually impossible. It's going to be about a 50-mile pipeline, give or take a little bit, from the start where it is going to be brought off the ships. And there's no way that you can have security with an active commuter train next to it. It's just virtually impossible. So security is a real issue. What I'm asking is that you do support this. And while you mentioned that you need more support at the Trenton level, and that's where it needs to begin, we do have the governor's support, and he needs all of the pieces of the puzzle, all of his constituents, to go along with him. And that's why we've been gathering the resolutions in all the other towns that are here. And the frozen... that's a joke. I call you the frozen cheese holders. I know you're the chosen freeholders. I knew that would come up here. But you would be extremely important piece of that puzzle. So again, I encourage you to sign that resolution.
Good evening. Bill Schultz, Riverkeeper, also a resident of Perth Amboy, 660 Amboy Avenue, Perth Amboy. Rather than having a prepared statement, I thought perhaps I can just fill in a few holes from the other well-spoken people that have been ahead of me. A 3-foot diameter high-pressure gas line run through the city of Perth Amboy, buried 3 feet underground. There is no safe routing through Perth Amboy. They want to bring it up alongside essentially in the old Goldberg junkyard area, which is right across from the Willens School. right across the street from it. It's, I believe it's like 250 feet away from the front door of the school to the gas line, proposed route. That's for sure. The concession, after people started complaining about it going past, another elementary school and a preschool and the high school, they rerouted it, brought it within 50 feet of an elementary school, over a railroad crossing, over State Street, if you're familiar with Perth Amboy, which the crossing is over 100 years old, which brings it down through Harbor Town, a very densely populated section of the city, through Kinder Morgan, alongside the Kinder Morgan facility, which is a tank farm, under the outer bridge. I'll talk about a security issue. Kodak has a small tank farm out there. Then it goes through Chevron, which is now an asphalt production only, but it's still a refinery, before it joins in with the main line and carries through, across the Woodbridge River, then up through Woodbridge, Seawarn, Port Reading, and then Carteret and Linden. There's no safe routing through a city as dense as Perth Amboy. I'm sure you people are familiar with the other towns, resident Woodbridge Township. You know what the densities are like. There's no safe routing for a facility like this to go through our area. One of the other things I'd like to point out is the arrogance of Liberty Natural Gas. When the governor comes out and says, I have the veto right to veto the Ocean Project, the in-water project, and he said he intends to veto the project, Liberty goes around the governor's back and starts laying plans to do the in-ground pipeline, the onshore portion, which the governor doesn't have the right to veto. That's just arrogance against our way of government. And I think that deserves to be noted also. Thank you.
Good evening. Karina Wilkinson, Highland Park. I also work for Food and Water Watch. I just wanted to say about what Bill Schultz, the Raritan Riverkeeper, also suggested was that I believe the public municipal beach there in Perth Amboy. Bill Schultz has been working really hard to get access to the Raritan for small watercraft. So we had the pleasure of going out this summer on a kayak trip on Raritan Bay, and that is the only access point from Perth Amboy where you can bring a small ship a small kayak or canoe down. And so there's a good chance that if the pipeline comes up there on the beach, that would shut down the only access that the community has and to getting kayaks out on the bay. And we're trying to get restoration of Raritan Bay rather than more industry. What everyone has been talking about tonight is we're talking about industrializing our ocean. We're talking about more industry through the bay, more industry through Perth Amboy, through our communities, and we're just asking you to say no. And we need your voice. We need your voice because there are, through the FERC process, even though the governor doesn't have veto power, there are state agencies that can object, so New Jersey Transit, the Department of Transportation, and so we need your voice in there now to say to these state agencies that do have some say that we're not going to let FERC force this pipeline on Middlesex County. So please act. Thank you.
Anybody else in the public? Any motion to close?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Fielder Barrett, seconded by Fielder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Any motion to adjourn the meeting?
Aye.
Second.
Motion by Fielder Delana, seconded by Fielder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Third.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.